Good evening, everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. As Helen said, my name is Dr. Jen Gupta. I'm an astrophysicist, but today I'm not, sadly, going to be talking about nature's death ray guns. Instead, I would like to present to you some of my ideas of how I think we can use big science to fix some of the big problems that face the world today. Now, I'm sure many of you will be aware of a lot of the disasters that we could face, from such factual documentaries as Armageddon, The Day After Tomorrow, and who could forget Sharknado. But there are two problems that I think are the biggest problems that we face as a planet today, and those two are global warming or climate change and the energy crisis. And I've definitely not just picked these two because I could come up with ways to make big science fit. So we'll start off by talking about global warming or climate change. Now, global warming is a really big deal. If you don't believe me, then you're disagreeing with thousands of scientists around the world. You're disagreeing with the President of the United States. You're disagreeing with the Pope. Even the Hulk is concerned about this, and rightly so. Since the Industrial Revolution, humans have kind of been screwing up the planet that we live on. Global temperatures are rising to catastrophic levels, and we're starting to reach the point of no return. Since 1880, the average global temperature has risen by a staggering 1 degree Celsius, which apparently is actually a really big deal. And so a lot of measures are being put into place to try and reverse this, but I think there's one simple solution that's been overlooked to date, and I don't know why, because it is just so simple when you think about it. Guys, let's just move the Earth further away from the sun. It's simple, because we all know that the Earth gets its heat from the sun. Now, the planet Venus is closer to the sun than the Earth, and it's really hot. And Mars is further away from the sun than the Earth, and it's colder than us. So it seems pretty obvious to me that if we just shift a little bit further away from the sun, we could counteract this rise in the global temperature, and everyone will be pretty happy. Now, some of you are probably sitting there thinking, Jen, this is a fantastic idea. But how do we actually do that? And I'm glad you're thinking that, because it's so simple. We'll reset the Earth. All we need to do is convince an asteroid to come round and say hi. So the asteroid swings past the Earth, and it transfers some of its momentum to us, and that makes us speed up. And when we speed up, we move into a higher orbit, further away from the sun. The global temperature falls, the Earth cools down, everybody's happy. And as a side benefit, 1 year would take longer because it would take us more days to complete an orbit around the sun, so we'd all age slower. I mean, I'm still a teenager on Mars. It's fantastic. There are a few possible other tiny insignificant side effects I should maybe mention. So there's a possibility that while the asteroid gets close to us, we'll get super tides. But in my mind, super tides means super surfing, so that's kind of all right. There's a possibility that we might accidentally lose the moon. But as an astronomer, that's actually quite good for me, because no moon means better stargazing. I can find a positive for anything. And there's also always the tiny possibility that we might make a slight miscalculation and end up accidentally crashing that asteroid into the Earth, wiping out all life as we know it. But actually for the Earth, that might be the best scenario. You crash the asteroid into the planet, you wipe out the majority of life, and you let it start again. You're essentially just rebooting the planet. It's the planetary equivalent of switching it off and on again. So I think you'll all agree that those side effects don't really matter, and it's all worth it if we can say that we've solved global warming. That was nice and easy. Let's move on to problem number 2, which was the energy crisis. So for the last 150, 200 years, humans have been relying on burning dead prehistoric plants and animals for a lot of our energy. And as far as I'm aware, back in those days, there was a limited number of prehistoric plants and animals to start with. So now we're left with a limited supply of dead prehistoric plants and animals, or fossil fuels, if you want to be conventional, for us to burn. So people have proposed a lot of different alternative solutions to this. We've got solar energy, wind energy, tidal energy, nuclear energy, but there's one source of energy that has yet to be exploited, and that is the seemingly endless energy of young children and puppies. Unfortunately, I don't think we can get cats in this. It's looking really sad there. Now, I don't know how many of you have spent much time with young children and or puppies. My life recently completely changed when this bundle of joy unexpectedly came into my life. Over Christmas, we went up to see my in-laws, and my 7-month-old puppy, Ralphie, there, encountered 5-year-old Ollie. He's not really a Power Ranger, don't worry. And I discovered an amazing thing. When you combine puppies and children, you can break the laws of physics. So you'd think, from the law of conservation of energy, which says that energy cannot be created or destroyed, you would think that when you take a puppy, you add in a child, the amount of energy you get out on the other side would just be the sum of their energies that you've put into that system. But instead, combining Ralphie with young Oliver there felt like setting off a bomb. And as I sat there watching them run off into the distance for the millionth time, in all their youthful joy, I thought, we could attach a turbine to that. Now, I'm not entirely sure of the details, but I'm pretty sure that to turn energy into power that we can actually use, all we need to do is spin things around. Right? And so I thought, why don't we just make giant puppy and child-sized versions of hamster wheels? We can let them run in them all day, and we can hook these up to turbines, and we can generate our power. This actually has an additional side benefit. I'm always about the side benefits. We've got an increasing number of children with obesity. We put these hamster wheels in the classroom. They can run in them all day while they're learning. We've solved the problem. There are a few little details to work out, like how we feed them while they're running, whether we let them off to go to the toilet or to sleep, kind of whatever. But I think you'll agree that this is a winning plan, and so we can safely say, oh, sorry, this is an actual hamster wheel that someone has made, so it's definitely possible. We can definitely say, no, we can't, that we've solved the energy crisis as well. So I've presented to you 2, I think you'll agree with me, practical solutions that use big science to fix 2 big problems that face us today. But just to finish, I want to share with you a slightly more wacky, out there idea that I came up with. Humanity has come up with some amazing things in our time. From building canoes to take us across the water, to going into space so we can take a selfie. But it's often taken us a long time to develop this technology, or we've had to rely on the genius of individuals to leap us forward. So we could spend billions of pounds on basic research, or we could be a bit more proactive. And so I thought, why don't we just try to entice an advanced alien civilization to Earth, and then we could just nick all their ideas. There's 100,000 million stars in our galaxy. We found nearly 2,000 planets going around those stars, and it's likely that every star you see in the sky, nearly every single one of those will have a planet going around it. So surely somewhere out there, there must be a civilization that's more advanced than us. So again, quite simple. All we need to do is turn our giant radio telescopes into transmitters and send out a signal to those aliens to come and say hello. I'm not quite sure what we'd offer them in order to entice them over to Earth, but in the movies, they always seem to like invading the United States, so we could just offer them America. No one really needs it. And then they come here, we nick their stuff. So assuming we can do that, we can entice our aliens to the Earth. They'll say hi as well. We have to find a plucky band of humans. They have to be plucky. That's what the films have told us. Plucky band of humans to go on board, just steal all their technology. Who knows what we might find? We could be sorted out for generations to come. And so I hope I have shown to you and convinced you that we can use big science to solve the big problems that we face today. I've been Dr. Jen Gupta. Thank you very much for listening, and enjoy the rest of your evening.